welcome back to my YouTube channel. On my Q&A video, which I just posted, a few people actually responded saying they wanted to hear about my worst, funniest client experience ever. So I thought, why not make a funny story time out of it? And the thing is, I can laugh about it now, but let me just tell you, I wasn't laughing when it happened. But anyway, if you guys like storytime videos, please give this video a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel because I have a lot coming out. I'm working really hard to multitask TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. So I would really appreciate if you do subscribe to my channel. It would mean the world. Okay, so let's just call this client Sam. And let's say this happened 3 years ago, this incident. Okay, so let's just say on this given Saturday, I had had clients all day from about 8 in the morning till about 3 in the afternoon, and I was expecting this client at 3:30. So I had finished a full day's worth of work, and it was quite back to back because it was just one of those days in the year. And I don't know why, but makeup bookings, this always happens, but they always fall on like the same day. Like there's always like a really popular date where there's like everyone wants to have their event, and so there's certain dates in the year where it's just crazy back to back. So I finished all the clients and it was 3:30. I was waiting for her. Generally, I'm quite lenient with my policies in terms of when clients are running late. I totally understand that things happen and sometimes it's unexpected. So I kind of gave her about 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. And let's just say, because it was my last client of the day, I wasn't like stressing about making other people late, and it was at my studio, so I wasn't fussed. Like if she did come a little bit late, that was fine with me, because I just wanted to be accommodating. And I knew from her that she was at a wedding and she wanted makeup for a friend's reception that was that night as well. So that's the context. And basically it was 3:45 and it was getting late, so I sent her a message and I'm like, hey Sam, are you on your way? I'm just checking in. And I get no reply, and I'm like, okay, cool, is this one of those clients who's going to be like the one-off no-show, or like what's the deal with this, right? So I waited a little bit more time because I'm like, okay, maybe something's wrong, and you obviously want to give people the benefit of the doubt. So it's about 4:30 and I get a message from her 1 hour later, and she's like, hey, running a little late. And I'm like, okay, there's no sorry, there's no phone call for courtesy, there's no reason or explanation, there's just, hey, running a little late. And I replied straight away because I was like on my phone, like I was waiting for her call or text, and I was like, hi, can you please let me know what time I can expect you, blah, blah, blah. And no reply. 15 minutes later. So at this point it's 4:45 and she's 1 hour, 15 minutes late for her booking, okay? She's like, be there soon, sorry. And I'm like, okay, maybe something happened. Because it's very unlikely someone's gonna rock up like almost 2 hours late unless there's a significant reason for it, you know? Like, and I didn't want to be that person. I've never met this person. I've never met Sam before, and she is running extremely late, and she just apologized, and I was like, okay, whatever, I'll talk to her about it when she arrives. She'll probably tell me what happened. 2 hours later, 5:30, my doorbell rings. I let her in. This girl looked like a mess, okay? She was all over the place. Not in like a rude way, but she was really flustered. She had like, looked like she was crying, and I was like, oh shit, like I hope everything's okay. And so I let her in, and you know, I offered her water and stuff. I was like, are you feeling okay? And I was just being really nice, and I was hoping that I wasn't gonna make her feel worse because she already looked decently upset, right? And then I felt really bad at this point. I was like, okay, please let me know if I can get you anything. Are you okay? Like, do you need a moment, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, no, that's okay. And she was actually being really nice at this time. So she had a drink of water and she sat down, and then I was like, look, I know, you know, you were running late and stuff, so I'm sure you have somewhere to be. So like, we'll get into discussing other things, but first let's just talk about the makeup and what you are after, and then I can get into it and then we can chat from there, okay? Anyway, so she takes out her phone and then she finds a picture that I had uploaded of another client on my page, so it was my work, and she's like, I love this look that you did on this client, can you do this on me? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And I always do this, but if a client shows me a picture of my own work, I always, or even someone else's work, I always let them know beforehand. I'm like, one, everyone's face shape's different, skin tone's different, skin type's different, eye shape's different, everything is different about you compared to another person. So just know, even if I do recreate this look, it will look slightly different on you. And of course, we need to tailor the look to suit your facial features and structure and skin tone and skin type and everything, right? So I told her all that and she was fine with it. She was like, yeah, that's fine. I trust you. I love your work, blah, blah, blah. And she's actually being really nice at this point, okay? Okay, so she started telling me about her day and she explains how it was her and her boyfriend attending this wedding together along with the family and then blah, blah, blah. And her ex, who was also part of the same community, was attending that same wedding. And she was explaining how the wedding was taking place, so there was like a square mandap and it was her and her boyfriend, and her ex was sitting on the opposite side of the mandap. And she was telling me about this and I was like, oh shit girl, that's like drama. She's like, yeah, oh my god, it was so much. Like it was actually like quite a casual and friendly chat at this point. And she was explaining how her ex kept looking at her and her boyfriend, psycho alert, but he was getting really pissed off that her ex was looking at her. And she was narrating this story to me like her boyfriend was very protective and sweet, and in my head I'm thinking, oh my god, like he seems like a psycho. If someone's looking at you, how is that in your control, you know? But anyway, she was painting a picture of him like he was like a gem of a boyfriend, and how her ex was looking at her and making her life hell. And I was like, okay, like I mean, I wasn't there, I don't know the situation, but yeah, fair enough. And then she started explaining how her boyfriend got angry at her because her ex was looking at her, and I'm like, oh, okay, but like why? In my head I'm thinking, but why? But anyway, she explains that and she's like, oh, he was getting really pissed off and then we had a fight and he told me I was looking really fat and ugly and I was really upset. And I'm like, girl, like that is not okay. You shouldn't take that shit. And then she started crying and I'm like, oh my god. And I'm trying to do her makeup here and I'm like, oh shit, like I want to listen to her story, but I also don't want her to cry because I know she's like running late. Like I was just kind of empathizing with her. I wasn't like really sharing my opinion on the topic because it's genuinely nothing to do with me. I was just listening to her and I was trying to like in a way be like, let's not talk about this because I don't want, but then she just wanted to talk about it. So I was like, okay. And I kept doing her makeup, and then midway through this conversation she stops me and she's like, oh, by the way, I went to another makeup artist, and this is another popular city makeup artist, okay? And she's like, I went to this makeup artist and they did my makeup and it was really shocking. I hated it, I looked so cakey. And in my head I'm thinking, okay, I know this makeup artist and I know how amazing their work is and how good they are at what they do. And I'm like thinking, I'm like, oh, that's scary. Because when someone starts like talking shit about another makeup artist and their work, and you've seen their work, you kind of get a bit nervous because it's like, oh, I hope my work is okay for them. So I was like, oh, and that was like my first red flag, because she started bashing this makeup artist. She started talking so much smack about how the color didn't match, her foundation didn't match, and how she looked cakey, and how her eyelashes were falling off, and how she didn't look, and she just went on. And I'm like, oh wow, that doesn't sound like this makeup artist from what I know and what I've heard from other people and what I've seen on like their page and stuff. And I'm like, I'm really like bad at telling stories, but she started explaining how she was late because of her boyfriend and how he sat in the car with her and made her cry, and like saying it was her fault and kept calling her really offensive, derogatory names because her ex was looking at her. And the way she was like conveying this story made me feel really bad for her, and I actually feel bad. I still feel bad. It is what it is. And then it was really random and it felt rehearsed, but like when she took a break from talking about that boyfriend and that ex and that whole triangle situation, she would proceed to talk about this makeup artist who ruined her makeup. And I was like, okay, she told me once, I acknowledged it, I was like, oh, okay. She told me twice, and I'm like thinking, I'm like, why is she telling me this, like integrating it in between her stories, like she's trying to remind me that this other makeup artist did her makeup really shit. Like why is she repeating this over and over again like I didn't understand the first time? And get this, okay, we're 3/4 of the way in and she's like, do you mind if I go see in the bathroom? And I'm like there's a mirror like I'm happy for you to, and she's like, no, I just want to have a go look at my face in the bathroom. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, maybe she needs to go to the bathroom, you know? So I'm like, yeah, don't worry, his bathroom's over there, let her go to the bathroom. And she's in there for a while, and I'm like, okay. And she comes out, and she's like looking at the makeup, and she's like, why is this pink? This is a disclaimer, I do not like fighting, and I do not like confrontation. In this situation, I'm always like, but then when I'm telling the story to my friends, I will tell it like, and say everything I wish I had said. But like, that's just how I am. She's like, why is it pink here? And I'm like, oh, like we decided like we were going for this look, weren't we? And she's like, yeah, but that looks nothing like it. And okay, FYI, it was a soft shimmer on the lid blended into a dusty pink with a liner. So it wasn't anything hectic. It wasn't like there was like anything insanely different to what I had done. It was my work that she had shown me, and then I'm doing that same look on her. So there was nothing like strikingly different. And then I was just like, okay, maybe she just doesn't like the pink, you know? Let me just ask her what she likes instead. So I'm like, okay, what else would you prefer? Like if you don't want to go with a pink, I'm happy to change it. Just let me know what you're feeling instead. And she's like, that looks nothing like that picture. And she was being so rude. It's like she had flipped a switch when she went to the bathroom. I'm like, did she get possessed or what? And then I was like, oh shit. And then I'm replaying that story where she's telling me about this other makeup artist and how she hated that makeup artist's work and how she was being so rude about them. And I was like, oh my god, please tell me she's like not a psycho. She was a psycho. And I'm like, okay, that's totally fine. I'm happy to like change the pink. What would you like me to do? Or do you want to change the eye look completely? And I was being like really nice to her. And she was like, well, I don't have time. No. She was like, I don't have time for this. And I was like, she dropped an F-bomb. And I was like, oh shit, okay. And like, I don't know, swearing to me, if it's not in a comedic manner, is really confronting, okay? Mind you, I hadn't even finished the look yet. Like I just done the eyes and I'd started like the base, and I haven't even put her lashes on and stuff yet. Like I was still in the process, okay? And she's like, I fucking hate this. And then after a while, I kind of went from like really nice stance to a stern stance, and she's like, I hate it. And I was like who talks like that? Who says stuff like that? Like if you don't like something, you will explain what you don't like if you don't like it, but you won't just be like, I hate it. And then if someone asks you what they don't like, you will tell them. Anyway, I'm sorry if I'm repeating the same thing. This story gets me so fired up. And then I start asking a more specific question. So I'm like, is it the color of the eyes? Is it like the eye shape? Is it the shimmer? And she's like, just all of it. And I don't have time for this. And then she's like, whatever, just finish it. And I'm like, okay. So I finished her base, and at this point it was just kind of like awkward. Like there was no conversation between us because I was like really like upset. I finished her makeup and she's got like this pissed off look on her face, and I'm like, oh my god, what is going on right now? And she looks in the mirror and she's like, she literally exclaimed, she's like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, get this, guys, this is where I was like, what? She's like, seriously, because of you now I'm gonna look like shit and my boyfriend's gonna talk shit about me even more? And there goes that. Or she made some comment like that, like pretty much directly blaming me for the way she's looking to, the way her boyfriend's gonna react to her look. And then she decides, she's like, he hates when I wear makeup anyway, so this is going great for me, or something along the lines of that. And then she's like complaining about how she has no time. She's saying, I have no time to change this. And so when I asked her one response was, I have no time. Like I was 2 hours late and I made her late. Like I literally did the makeup in like less than an hour. Mind you guys, I've missed a lot of the steps in telling this story, but basically she kept swearing, and that was what was annoying me. I'm like, why is she swearing? And I was being calm, and then she was like, whatever, I don't have time for this, I'm not gonna pay you. That's literally her word. And I'm like, excuse me, like. And at this point, if someone was genuinely upset with my work and they were like being genuine, like you can definitely see that, and there would be a way I would have managed that. But because she was being so rude, I was just like, what? This is my response. That's absolutely fine. I'm happy for you not to pay me if you're not happy. Like that's totally okay. Mind you, it's not okay, but I said that. I was like, that's totally fine. I'm happy for you to like take the makeup off, and like that's totally fine, right? I'm pretty sure that's like pretty fair. Like, she takes the makeup off, she doesn't pay me if she's so unhappy with it. The fact that she kept swearing and she was such a wreck, I was like, okay, like if she's not happy with it, she can take it off, she doesn't have to pay me. I think that's pretty fair, guys, okay? And she's like, what do you mean? I'm not taking this off. I'm like, okay, but like, then you'd have to pay me because you are going to be attending an event with this makeup, and I have spent the time and effort doing your makeup, and like I'm totally happy to change anything you don't like. Just please let me know, and I really want you to leave from here happy. What she does, guys, is she gets the money out of her bag, she chucks it on my table. So I have a makeup table. She literally takes the money, she chucks it onto the table, and she storms out of my house. And I was like, long story short, get this, right? She's telling me how much she hates the makeup. She wears the makeup to her event. She puts up a photo on her Instagram with the makeup. And then people literally commented, oh my God, I love your makeup. Because she posted a selfie and you could quite clearly see her makeup. And she's like, oh, thank you. And she's full accepting the compliments. This is the funny part, guys. She tagged her outfit vendor and she tagged like her jewelry vendor, but she didn't tag me, implying in her post that she did her own makeup and taking credit for it. I mean, honestly, look, I didn't really care about that. It was just like I was so confronted by the experience. Told everyone this story, like the people I'm close to, and everyone was like, basically, she just didn't want to pay you. Like, she was just setting the tone from get-go that she didn't want to pay you. And I thought about it and I'm like, you know what? That's actually true, because why else would she repeatedly be venting so passionately in between conversations about this other makeup artist who did her makeup, who's actually a really good, capable makeup artist? Like, it just seemed like she was setting the tone. I don't know. And the fact that she was swearing so much, and the fact that she threw the money on my table, I basically learned a lot from that incident. But we learn and we grow, and I hope this story time was interesting. You guys found it entertaining. I mean, imagine being in my situation. Oh, I haven't had any clients like that or even close to that. Everyone's been a gem. I love my clients. I love what I do. But this was just so weird. Anyway, guys, if you like story times like this, subscribe to my channel, comment down below, give this video a thumbs up, and I will be back with some more interesting videos. I don't know if I have interesting stories like that, but yeah, I'll be posting regularly on YouTube, so it would mean the world if you can join the fam and show some love. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.